With the YouTube adpocalypse still looming over many channels, if you want to support this one, check out my Teespring store for the latest merch. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and it's E3 2018 time. So, you know what? You've probably been watching a lot of stuff about games and everything. You've been arguing over who won. It was Bethesda. All right. No other contenders even came close to Bethesda, but Bethesda won. It was Bethesda. But now we're seeing this big pushback from the progressive games media that likes to talk a lot of crap this time of year. And to quote Paul Joseph Twatson, imagine my shock, which is not the accent, but I don't care because fuck that guy. But here we're looking at an article over on Polygon from Ben Kuchera, says creatives are finally telling manbabies to stay home. And it's been a long time coming, you guys. A long time. The creatives are finally speaking out against people that troll them on the internet. Now, don't get me wrong. I get a lot of people trolling me. So I understand why people would clap back. But at the same time, it's Ben Kuchera. So it says here that some very aggressive Battlefield fans are upset that the game includes women, or has a woman on the cover. Some of them are convinced that women didn't exist during the past, so putting them in a game that's set in the past is wrong. It's all kind of muddled. The general situation is that some gamers are upset about women existing, which is a pretty common event in gaming, but this time it's angered at Battlefield 5. Well, considering that it's kind of an alternative take on World War II, and it was very confusing, considering that DICE has always taken a very straightforward approach to these type of games, people were making lots of jokes about it. I'm sorry if humor and satire tend to go over your balding head there, Ben, but that's okay. I'm here to fill you in there, buddy. Now, it goes on to say, what's notable about this response is some members of the creative team behind the game. Battlefield 5 is about the unseen, the untold, the unplayed, says EA Chief Creative Officer Patrick Sunderland. The common perception is that there were no women in World War II. There were a ton of women who both fought in World War II and partook in the war. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Russian female snipers. Hardcore as hell. Make a game about them. This was a little bit different. This was a woman with God of War makeup on, with one arm, wielding a sniper rifle, and also having a claw for a hand. It was just a little bit off-putting with no other types of explanation. But then again, I'm starting to really think about this, that EA wanted the reaction that they're getting in order to generate the buzz that someone here like Ben Kuchera could muster. It's Kuchera, nobody ever takes him seriously. Now, he goes on to state that the development team pushed for women to be included in the game, that his daughter doesn't understand why people are upset, that both men and women want to play as women, and that's just the way gaming is these days, before he gets to the real point. Again, it's not necessarily that women are included in the game, it's that the way they're portrayed. In a series that pushes for realism, pushing this agenda, this new style of gameplay, this new narrative. And then what they said at the EA press conference is their portrayal of World War II. Again, not really confirming or denying alt history, which nobody would care if it was alt history. But because no other previous Battlefield game, especially the stellar Battlefield 1 from 2 years ago, it took people by surprise. And they're making fun of it because it comes across as just pandering and lame because they're not used to it. Call of Duty pushing for an alternative history would be fine. You get that. That's kind of how things go. Battlefield, not so much. Now, he says here that we don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause because I think that the people who don't understand it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. I'm fine with either or. It's just not okay. Soderlund, I'm just gonna fill you in on this one here, man. That is not the right call to make. That is not the right angle to take here. And the reason for that has everything to do with the perception from the fan base. Now, while you are technically correct, this is your portrayal of the war. This is how you want to do it. If people don't like it, they can just basically pound sand. And I get that. And that's the fine approach to take. But angering a fan base that is as loyal as Battlefield is not going to end well for you. There will be people out there who will flat out not purchase the game, not because they care about women being playable, but because they feel like you guys have given them the middle finger, and they will then take their money and put it elsewhere, like Call of Duty. Do you want that? No, you do not want that. But you're going to get that if you keep going down this narrative. We've seen it before. I understand that you're going to quote your daughter. Well, my daughter doesn't understand why people are like this. Well, then your daughter is on a good, she's got a good point. You should explain to her that you guys are doing alt history, and that's going to be a little bit different. And when you explain it to her, you should also then explain it to literally everybody else who has been asking questions and getting this kind of response back. It's not going to work out well for you. Not one damn bit. Now, he goes on to say here that this has been happening more and more lately. Some of the folks behind the pop culture we enjoy are done pretending like the most toxic fans are worth keeping around. And he goes on to quote Rian Johnson, writer-director of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, film that I've been criticizing now for 6 months. He says here that done with this disingenuous bullshit, you know the difference between not liking a movie and hatefully harassing a woman so bad she has to get off social media, and you know which of those we're talking about here. And obviously he's referring to Kelly Marie Tran leaving Instagram, and the current theory, because there's been no straight statement from her, has been because of the harassment she received over playing Rose Tico in Star Wars The Last Jedi. A lot of people out there who have criticized Star Wars The Last Jedi have all come out in defense of Kelly Marie Tran, saying, well, we don't like the movie, but she had nothing to do with that, so whatever. And people are then questioning the narrative. There's a lot of theories rolling around right now about this, even calling it an op, like a Disney-led op, or a Lucasfilm-led op in order to shift the blame away. And you know what? I don't 100% believe that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ever found out that was the case. Now, Johnson also made it clear he doesn't have time for these people, saying this is what we talk about when we talk about man babies. He's referring to Kelly Marie Tran. Now, it says some Star Wars fans have been playing the game where they attack the films in a sexist way, only to claim that it's unfair to call them sexist just because they're focusing their anger on women and using sexist attacks. And John Boyega has also spoken out against this. Someone here says, hey, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but this narrative that all fans are just hating her is pathetic. We hate the character, and to be honest, yours wasn't much better. And he responds back with, we don't care. You might not care now, but I am letting you know that these things will have consequences. These things will have negative repercussions. And I just like to kind of quickly reference and game drop Gamergate, simply because that was a moment where there were repercussions. The way Ghostbusters handled itself in regards to the criticisms led to the movie being a failure, led to the movie costing Sony lots of money. These things have consequences, but people like Ben Conchera here, they don't care. They don't care at all because this type of argument backs their political narrative. They never want to stop for a hot minute and ask themselves, who's actually trying to repair the fandom versus who's just trying to profit off of its demise. And I say that as a person who does comment on these things, comment on the controversy, comment on the drama, and profit off of it. It's a very vicious cycle. But I always try to look for the hope in things. I'm telling you right now, this is not the course of action. You want to save Battlefield? This is not how you do it. You want to save Star Wars? This ain't how you do it. But because people like Ben Kuchera here are backing them, giving that kind of ideas a platform, they're thinking that they're emboldened to do so. People vote with their wallets because oftentimes they find themselves outnumbered and silenced on social media. So, I'm just saying. Now, Dan Harmon goes on to talk about Dan Harmon here. Co-creator of Rick and Morty has made his distaste for some of the sort of vocal, horrible fans known. Somehow the toxic Rick and Morty fans also tend to attack women involved in the show. They've criticized the writing of the show, absolutely. Some people have been more douchey than others, but Dan Harmon hasn't, he kind of hates everybody. So it's really like not a big deal to many people who like the show. And also people were more dickish about the Szechuan sauce thing than the women who co-wrote the episodes. So, where's the love for the McDonald's employees that got totally crapped on over that stunt? He says here, I've made no bones about the fact I loathe these people. It fucking sucks. And the only thing I can say is if you're lucky enough to make a show that's really good that people like, it means some bad people are going to like it too, which is true. And it's not that you have to cater or pander to those people, but if they have a legitimate concern, as in the case of Battlefield 5 and Star Wars The Last Jedi, maybe even the writing of Rick and Morty Season 3, which kind of took itself a little bit too seriously in some cases, perhaps having a dialogue about certain issues, addressing those issues instead of, bullheadedly just attacking the people coming at you may not work for you. And again, this is something that like I've done too. But when you get attacked, when you get over attacked, sometimes you kind of hunker down, you put up the shield and you push back a little bit. And I can tell you that's not always the case. It's hard to break the human condition, but it's something we all should definitely try to do. Now, it says here, Finch is up here, I should say, it's depressing that the angry men of Twitter are so angry about Star Wars, video games, and Rick and Morty, which had become something of an angry internet man starter kit. It's heartening to see so many of these people behind the properties make it clear that the fandom shouldn't tolerate the worst parts of itself. People threatening to walk away from these fandoms when they're being horrible, only to be told it may be better off if they actually do walk away, is a positive development. If you wanna say that, if you wanna go down that pathway, I'm just gonna be honest here, Benny boy. That's not always the case, right? Because some people look at it as being a battle cry to come out and to further go after these people and these things, and as a result of that, it can work out poorly for you, not you directly, Ben, but like colloquial in terms of gaming and Star Wars and Rick and Morty, because these people do vote with their wallets. And if they choose to not support something, even that they love, we can see something like maybe Solo or other movies that have felt the pain from fans saying, no, we don't want this. And when they're told, oh, your opinions and your thoughts don't matter, but they're lumped in as being these vicious, vile, sexist harassers, which case many of them, the bulk, overwhelming majority of critics are not, they get mad. They get more frustrated. And when they become more frustrated, well, they move on to something else that won't treat them like shit. So if you want to help destroy Battlefield 5 sales, you're doing a great job there, Ben. And if you wanna hurt Star Wars, which you claim to like, but clearly you don't, you're also doing a good job on that too. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on this one, and I could be wrong. I'm open to the discussion. How about that, Ben? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been the Monday Matt channel. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe, check back often for more content from me. If you want to support the channel, links below in the video description, or if you want to watch more content, I hope you do, you can do so right now.